Alrighty, and welcome folks back to another day of some AEL Uni Dota 2. I'm Kadius, joined here on the desk by Ares. How are we doing?
Very well, very well. We should have a beautiful best of two to kick us off today. I'm excited to see how the boys are able to fare.
Definitely, and our game that we're going to be having today is UTS Esports going up against GIGACHADELAIDE. So, do you have any experience between these two teams? Any maybe predictions, especially, of what we could see?
Well, at least for GIGACHADELAIDE, I know they have Andros, which is at least a player who's pretty well known, I'd say, through the Oceanic region in particular. I mean, an incredibly high mechanically skilled support, and I feel like, I mean, he's not even captaining them as well. It's noodle too. So, I mean, I feel like Andros is going to be playing the support role, but I'm not too sure at the moment. But with the experience that he's able to provide this team, and then Unleashed and Psycho, of course, their names have been in a couple of previous AEL university seasons. So this should be definitely exciting for GIGACHADELAIDE. And over on UTS, these are some players I'm not too familiar with, though. So I am excited to see how at least they're able to match up right now. So on paper, I'd say maybe, I know more of the players on GIGACHADELAIDE, but for UTS, there's definitely potential where they're able to still shine.
Certainly. Well, I do know Reem Nizzle myself, going back a little while, and I know he's a pretty proficient Position 2 player, very wide hero pool, sometimes actually one of the few very decent Invoker players, actually, which it would be a treat to see that whipped out in competition, but at the same time, I'm sure maybe wanting to go for a more consistent hero pick in general, but we've seen a pretty recurring theme between all of our matches this week that I've seen, and that is kind of these early aggressive compositions that don't really have much of a late game scaling Position 1 pick versus, again, a team that is much more the opposite, where they're kind of trying to funnel everything into a late game Position 1 pick, and it's just a question of, can they close out the game in time, or is the other team going to scale over the top of them? And it seems like that's kind of been almost every single match, really. So I'm curious to see if UTS Esports here versus GIGACHADELAIDE is going to fill that same kind of a dynamic.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the meta at the moment, where there's a high emphasis on late game potential, where we see the Lunas, the Medusas, the Terrorblades are incredibly popular, and then also a high emphasis on team fight heroes as well. The Doom, the Mars, the Phoenix is still an incredibly popular support. You chuck the Grimstroke in there as well. I know different tournaments and different teams are going to have their own kind of metas and play styles, so we'll see if teams are able to adapt. Again, this is the person I can kind of highlight to the most, just because I'm more familiar with him, but Andros having that experience, and he's going to be watching a lot of the the tier 1, tier 2 games, so he'll be well aware of what teams are trying to run. It's just the question if he can implement that with GIGACHADELAIDE.
Yeah, certainly. Well, the heroes you just mentioned have definitely been heroes that we've seen high amounts of pick rates on, but also a few heroes that you maybe aren't seeing picked traditionally competitively that have had very, very high pick percentages here. I know Lion, almost a 100% presence this week in terms of games, even getting banned out. That definitely seems to be a very favored support here in the AEL scene. Whereas, you wouldn't traditionally see it being a very high priority pick elsewhere.
I do think Lion's definitely one of the better supports right now. Are you saying wait, did you say it's getting picked up 100% through the games you've seen so far?
It has almost a 100% pick ban presence, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely understandable. Right now, there's it's a lot of people putting emphasis as well on this instant stun into burst combination. You see the Nyx Assassin, the Lion, the Dragonite, probably three of the best ones at the moment. And Lion gives you so much as well with the early team fight, and you got to keep in mind, like, this was a hero that was not getting picked up like at all, and then his talents got incredibly buffed. I mean, he got the mana drain targets allies, which is nice. For late game, if you have mana issues, you have, of course, the Finger of Death stacks, which can take you up a little bit, but it's also kind of the meta switch as well, where we saw a lot of the Necrobooks issues dealt with like the Ancient Apparition and the Lion, but because Lycan and Beastmaster got heavily hit by the Necrobooks, getting removed from the game, that's how they were enabled to be really firm in the meta. So I think Lion is an incredibly solid support, and I would really be surprised if it doesn't continue with that 100% rate.
Yeah, it seems like the big ones that have a lot of presence seem to be Lion, which is the one that gets through the most, so we see him pick the most. But the ones that have also had very high presence, but mostly in the ban department, are Ancient Apparition and Winter Wyvern.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a big reason why. I mean, the Winter Wyvern has an immense amount of flexibility. We saw through the TI closed qualifiers that Tundra had kind of pulled out this, wild card almost with 9 trying to play the Winter Wyvern mid. And it's got such incredible talents, and you just can't deal with him once he gets to that stage where, he's got like Witchblade, Boots of Travel, Aghanims. That hero is just ridiculous. And with all the heavy emphasis on team fight as well, the Curse can just disrupt team fights. And the Ancient Apparition, like you brought up, that's a hero that just completely negates like half the pool from being viable to be played at all. And well, in fact, we do have a draft underway, so we should be able to switch that over really soon here.
Yeah, certainly. We're going to be hopping right over here and having a quick look. And again, there's that Winter Wyvern Ancient Apparition ban right away, almost as if predicted. Followed up by Templar Assassin. That's one that we haven't seen all too often.
TA is, yeah, I mean, that's still another position too that's incredibly top tier. It can be flexed as well into the 1 and 2, like this late game. Right now, it's really the battle of ranged agi carries. TA, Luna, Terrorblade, Dusa. I didn't include the Templar Assassin earlier. It was one I forgot. And it really looks like just stock standard bans at the moment.
Nyx Assassin getting taken out as well. GIGACHADELAIDE going up for the first pick here. We'll see what they're going to grab away.
Yeah, I'll probably see. Again, I mean, teams are going to have their own individual meta, so it's going to be interesting to see like what the priority wants to be. There's the Lion though, so no real surprise. It's just the question of now UTS, they have a potential to answer the Lion in a hard dispel. Been a fan of the Abaddon getting picked up. Just an incredibly strong laning stage hero. You've got a hard dispel to mitigate some of the burst that Lion really relies around with that chain lockdown into an additional hero to get the full kill. So I've seen so far yesterday when I was doing some casting, there was a lot of the support into like the position 1 opener, but it looks like UTS, they just go for a stock standard. Nothing wrong with this. An immense amount of team fight in the Mars and the Phoenix.
Yeah, Mars and Phoenix, two very scary teamfight ultimates locked in there for UTS Esports. Also fairly decent laning phase, I would say. And the Viper going to be the second pickup for GIGACHADELAIDE.
Dire team ban.
Now this is the Viper can be an incredibly strong laning stage hero, but the issue is that this hero does fall off into the late game. And you kind of, people like to say he's like a paper aeroplane. You can bring him down with incredibly. You don't have to use all your resources to kill the Viper, and that can be a bit of an issue. He does very much suffer against a lot of physical right-click damage. So we'll see how UTS want to identify that. The win range is probably one of the better matchups mid, but at least right now GIGACHADELAIDE, they have some flexibility with the Viper where you can put him in multiple roles here.
Yeah, we do see some pretty standard, unsurprising bans here. The Medusa, the Terrorblade, the Luna, those ranged agi carries like you were talking about. But Lifestealer and Shadow Fiend strike me as a little bit unorthodox here. The Lifestealer obviously potentially stopping any kind of a counter pick for the Mars and the Phoenix. Those heroes, not the biggest fondness towards a Magic community, but the Shadow Fiend especially, very peculiar. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, this is a hero that is really not getting picked up a whole lot at the moment. I did see it a couple of days ago for, I think, the QH Dota League, and it was Arjit that played it twice in the mid lane on the Shadow Fiend. He went for the right-click damage build, and then he went for the magic damage build as well. I feel like it's just... I think Shadow Fiend needs a lot more buff, so I don't think we're really going to see him as much. I have to just imagine it's a comfort pick for whatever the position 2 players on UTS, so they're probably just... a little bit worried. I also wonder, I'm not sure if Andros is drafting for GIGACHADELAIDE or not, but I am intrigued. They definitely are aware of at least the position 2 player on UTS and what his hero pool is.
Certainly trying to attack the carries right now. Is Phantom Lancer going to be the final ban for the side of UTS Esports? And they're picking up a Vengeful Spirit.
I don't know how much I've liked Avenge. I think Avenge is... You did get your Vengeance Aura nerfed. I'm trying to remember what it is now. I think it's just percent damage that it amps. Yeah, base damage bonus. So... It used to be really good with ranged agi carries because it increased their attack range as well as I think their primary attribute. I know they changed it a bunch, but you want to pair it with like Dusa, Luna, Terrorblade, and they're not in the pool. So I'm intrigued to see what they play it with.
Yeah, only time will tell, but GIGACHADELAIDE certainly taking their time here, going into reserve time already. Making sure to use it up as much as possible, and they're going to go for the Hoodwink.
Okay, so already more than likely bow support shown. They are incredibly squishy, however, for the side of GIGACHADELAIDE. So you're going to be looking for... I mean, they need somewhere to tank up at the moment. That's going to be the big issue.
Certainly. Hoodwink having that break available on the ultimate, fairly decent into a composition that has all these passives. Tiny, another one of them. Gonna be locked in here for the side of UTS Esports. What do you think of the Tiny?
I was hoping they go for... I mean, the Tiny's really nice against, at least in regards to how squishy GIGACHADELAIDE are. So he's going to offer an immense amount of burst potential here to kill off the Hoodwink, the Lion. You need somewhere to gap close on the Hoodwink because of how mobile he is. So if you're just running at him, he's always going to be able to play his distance and cut the waves. My only issue with the Tiny is that which it's looking like it is a mid-Tiny, I don't think that matchup's good at all versus the Viper in the lane. As the game goes on, even then, because Viper has this innate magic resistance from the corrosive skin, and they now really need on UTS some way to amp up or at least provide physical right clicks. So, I mean, because the Venge with the minus armor, and again, Viper is someone who does not like versing anyone with high physical damage. So, trying to see what's available now with the Wraith King getting picked up. So they've got their one, more than likely their two. So GIGACHADELAIDE, I mean, they've got the 23rd pick coming out of the last phase of the bans here. We're looking for their offlaner, needing some way to be super survivable. They don't have a lot of team fight. A Tide could be a possibility just for the front line and the Ravage potential. Because you take a look at UTS, and I'd say you favor them a little bit more, at least in regards to team fights, and their pickoff's really strong. And also Tide, he can build into some utility and armor items, and against the stuns that UTS have, is not really too worried because the Kraken Shell. But are there any other like strong position 3s that it can tank up to stand out to you?
Not entirely sure. We did see something like the Wraith King, though traditionally seen position 1. I've seen him go position 3 on the rare occasion. But you were talking about the side of GIGACHADELAIDE here needing some kind of a tanky threat, and Wraith King obviously very, very tanky strength hero, hard to kill, and when you do kill him, you have to kill him again, unless you draft towards Mana Burn, which UTS Esports have not here. So unless they kind of go all in on this final pick here as a answer to Wraith King, do you think he could be a bit of a problem?
I think it's going to take him too long to get online, though. That's not... Well, what is it? A Wraith King... If it's a Wraith King Hoodwink lane, that's pretty decent. Even Lion as well, for that matter.
10 seconds remaining.
I just feel like... He can get to that stage, definitely, I think. But it might take him a while because I like UTS's draft at the moment. It just looks a lot more crisp, clean to execute compared to GIGACHAD's. So he's going to need a lot of space, and Wraith King doesn't have anyone that can make space across the map. I mean, you've got Viper is very difficult to make plays. He's kind of just very telegraphed on how he makes his maneuvers across the map, and If this is going to be a Radiance build, which we don't really see too often anymore on the Wraith King, it's very slow, so it'll take a long time for him to come online. But against a lineup that is reliant on team fight, having a Wraith King is nice because you just trade Arena, you trade Supernova for the big ultimate in the Wraith King, and then you feel pretty happy with trading ulti for ulti there. So I think it'll be difficult to get to that stage, but later on he should do okay.
Certainly, well, Wraith King is going to be the big, scary threat along with the Viper here, and they are just taking away Drow Ranger as their final ban. Makes a lot of sense, kind of Wraith King maybe having a difficult time getting on top of something like the Drow, but Magnus is going to be the final lock-in here for GIGACHADELAIDE.
Very greedy. Can be 2 mag as well, and they can put the Viper in the off, so they've got a lot of flexibility for GIGACHADELAIDE. But it's a very, very greedy draft, and you don't have anyone to make plays. It gives you a little bit of team fight. But Mag is not the one that can frontline, which is a bit of an issue. He's a hero that needs someone to go in first, tank up some spells, force the enemy team to kind of dissolve the formation they currently have set up before the team fight, and then he can pounce with a big RP. But you don't really have anyone to do that at the moment, so again, I mean, Wraith King will probably get to that stage where I think like 30 minutes in, but it's gonna take a while. And now they go for a Jug here, which matches up pretty well versus the Wraith King. Very good versus the Viper. There's that physical damage. They're coming through. I'm a huge fan of the UTS draft.
Yeah, definitely some great drafts here. The Magnus potentially just getting picked up here to just chuck that cleave on Wraith King and try and let him go to town with that, but we'll have to see. Only time will tell. But now that we've seen our comps, I think we should maybe quickly go through our sponsors and mention them before we hop into this first match here. Ares, if you'd like to do the honors there.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, Chatime, of course, the presenting partner for us and the fastest growing AEST franchise in Australia. There are over 120 Chatime tea breweries with a commitment to quality ingredients and mix-ins and a flair for innovative flavor combinations to brew nothing but the very best iced teas. And then we've got AOC, is a global leader in monitor display technology. For more than 50 years, AOC has delivered an exceptional viewing experience to millions of loyal customers worldwide. Today, the company offers a wide selection of stylish monitors for home, office, or gaming. And then Indomie noodles are made from carefully selected ingredients, the best quality flour and fresh spices from the natural resources of Indonesia, giving it a unique and delicious taste. As a result of Indomie's success, their range has expanded to 14 different products. And last, Rig develops headsets delivering superior audio for competitive gamers and streamers at all levels. Join the Rig team and enhance your gaming experience. A massive shout out to all 4 of the sponsors for making this possible. And we do have our game 1 underway. Caddies, how are we feeling? You want to check out some predictions here? Which draft are you a fan of?
Definitely a fan of the UTS draft, but you know, it's going to be one of those things where only time is going to be able to tell. Lion, very strange hero, can, you know, somehow just generate these huge leads by getting those finger picks. So we'll have to see how it goes, but it does look like we're seeing a bit of a smoke invade already from minute go from this UTS lineup here.
See, this could be a good maneuver. Do they have the stronger level 1 though is the question.
Only time will tell, but it looks like they're going to come out here onto the Vengeful Spirit. The break has been dropped from Viper, and that's going to be first blood going over to their Hoodwink. Icarus on the Magnus, on the Mars I should say. I'm going to watch out here. But they do just pick up the 1 kill and decide to back off.
Unfortunately, you don't give the first blood over to your core, which is always best scenario, but you take first blood nonetheless. They should be able to get majority of the bounties. It looks like Radiant didn't infiltrate the triangle, so it might still be a 2 for 2, although Psycho with a great sun. They'll get 3 bounties on Dial.
Was able to grab the bounty rune there, but is he going to pay for it with his life? Doesn't look like it. Wraith King there, sitting there. Gonna escort him out. And the salve getting popped. Keep him nice and healthy.
Okay, so it is going to be Mag mid. So this is a Viper off versus the Jug, which... Oh, okay. I mean, the Juggernaut has a 42-second cooldown on your Dispel, which is a relatively... it's too long of a cooldown, but once he gets levels, I really want to see. The only issue is the Phoenix is a hero that also really relies on levels. Like until you get 2 points in Fire Spirits, your laning stage is relatively weak, so it might be a bit difficult for how they can try and. Like, I want to see Jug get solo experience, but then again, I want Phoenix to get experience as well. So he's probably going to have to pull the small camp, but you already see Dire have blocked that. So Unleashed is just going to try and shove the lane out of the tower and make it very difficult here with his level 2 advantage. I want to see them try and put a lot of damage onto the Juggernaut.
Something what does look like a player has paused the game. A little bit of lag coming through from the side of UTS. I'm going to have the Hoodwink reconnect. But while we're having this pause time, I think it's worth kind of discussing maybe this mid lane matchup, Tiny into Magnus. How do you think this traditionally in the sort of mid lane 1v1 is going to be going between these two position 2s?
I think they should both be farming relatively well. It'll get a bit easier for Matt. Oh, wow. He didn't actually put a point in power. So he must have... I didn't see because we were watching down bot, but... I mean, Refresh Mental must have gone for like a Shockwave Skewer play under the tower, which is a play that both these mid laners have, of course, with their force mobility, with the toss and then the skewer. So I think once he gets 2 points into power, this lane, at least CSing wise, should get a lot easier for the mag. So then the Tiny is going to have to rely pretty heavily on just with an early bottle, securing the runes and kind of using Avid and then into...
Oh, here we go. Actually. That could just be the skewer play you were talking about. Reem Nizzle managing to skewer Saitama up under the tower. Does pop the Tango to try and get as much regen as possible. Looking for the TP out. Shockwave up in 2. No, not quite enough. And Tiny going to be able to get out of there and live another day.
Yeah, so this is the thing. I mean, mag versus melee matchups, Empower is great because you can kind of just get that little poke harass in occasionally once you're CSing, but it's a lot easier to be able to have a setup of the skewer under the tower. So you already see, the play coming through early, and now what do you do here for the Tiny? Like, he doesn't have enough gold to pick up the bottle. He's still got 2 Tangos, but without any mana as well, he's really going to suffer. So he's got to bring out another Salve to try and play the lane, which is going to further delay his bottle timing. I mean, even though he's got 9 last hits, you see a lot of emphasis is put on the sustain to keep himself afloat. And how this matchup's going to fare as the game continues going on, Mag is a hero that puts a lot more emphasis on just shoving the lane and going back and farming stacks, where Tiny can look to get a lot more aggressive once he has a power rune, like a haste or potentially an invis for an example here. So they will play slightly different once we get to that stage.
It was nearly looking like the Juggernaut there was getting to be in a little bit of a scary position, but able to back off.
Yeah, as we take a look at the last lane we haven't gone through at the moment as well. Top, so, double stun from either team. Honestly, this is a lane where we could see a lot of kill threat as well. Like, all the lanes right now have that capability to find kills. I am intrigued to see how they can pair, though, the Venge with the Mars. I mean, the Wave of Terror with the God's Rebuke, it's going to be pretty nice because of the high damage that it does have. And actually, they're going on Viper down bot.
Yeah, the Juggernaut spin to win onto Unleashed here. Great bushwhack from Hoodwink, though. Might be able to give him a little bit of space to get out of here. A couple more auto attacks will do the trick, but look at the peel coming through from Sir Reginald Nuggetry on this Hoodwink, and now trying to turn things around onto Ray, potentially. Another great bushwhack does connect over the tree, and that's going to be a kill going right through over onto Ray's Phoenix.
Yeah, beautifully played there. Yeah, still props to Radiant, though, for recognizing their power spike as soon as you hit level 2, and they're going to go again.
He absolutely is not missing with these. Forces out the spin to not die to the Viper. He's going to have to TP, potentially. No, was able to get the salve off of Ray. Very nice.
Yeah, you see how important these levels are. I mean, still, Ray only 1 point in the Fire Spirit, so they did unblock their small camp. The hard camp got unblocked as well, so either team have the pull camp available here. Ray, I just want to see him continuously pulling the small camp. Like, he needs his experience. The Jug needs to get more levels in the Blade Fury, so one, it gives him kill threat, but also to dispel off the poison attack.
Certainly we can see this Vengeful Spirit getting a little bit bullied by Lion here. Does pop the magic missile. Icarus is coming around from the back line. Psycho having to run further into the side of this Radiant triangle. Dodges out of the skewer very nicely. The spear. And actually turns that around and finds himself a solo kill onto the Vengeful Spirit of GIGACHADELAIDE. Or of UTS, I should say.
It's nice solo kill to pick up. Gets the experience. A little bit of gold as well for Psycho. So this should be Tranks completed pretty shortly. That'll help him with his rotations across the map. He's probably going to get to a stage where, again though, they've got a position 1 and position 2 that can't make a lot across the map. So honestly, getting the gold to the Lion is very important here. If he can get a fast blink timing, otherwise they're probably waiting for Mag with Echo into blink. He might go blink before the Echo, but what the Echo Saber is able to provide you is just incredible amount of stats. Also the mana regen's nice, just so he can kind of keep himself afloat in the jungle and doesn't need to fly out as many clarities to kind of stick around. So it's a great item, of course, to increase your farming speed too. So yeah, that's kind of the thing we're waiting for on Dire. Their laning stage has gone really well. I mean, 3 kills. Bot lane, we saw how the Hoodwink was able to kind of put his stamp on that lane. But as we get to the kind of early game, our eyes really have to be on when the Blink Daggers come through.
Yeah, so Reginald going to pick up a DD here, but the Tiny and the Phoenix chasing after him. Icarus Dive comes through. Now looking for him in the tree line, but so Reginald Nuggetry getting aggressive here with that bushwhack, and here comes Reem to finish him off, and Ray getting caught out once again. The top side here, this Vengeful Spirit very low indeed. Psycho chasing after her with absolute belligerence. Does have that Earth Spike coming off cooldown in just a moment. Not sure if they know she's in the trees here or not, though. And the salve is going to come through from Icarus.
Oh, another one. Oh. So I'm pretty sure this is Andros playing the Hoodwink, and if it is, this is a menacing start for him. 3-0-1. They're going to go top on Mars.
A little bit of poking, but one thing I'd like to ask is we saw the very terrible start this Tiny had to the laning phase, delayed his bottle timing by quite a lot, but we are seeing in terms of the CS, he's actually very toe-to-toe going here onto Vengeful Spirit, though the Earth Splitter is going to connect, but Mars with a great bit of peel, keeping this Wraith King from getting on top of the Vengeful Spirit.
Ray... Oh, again! This Hoodwink! Just got the bushwhack before the dive, and is a squire indeed on this little man, and he doesn't have a sentry, so they won't be able to unblock, but with how the Phoenix was positioning there, they should definitely be aware of the Ancients being blocked up. But yeah, like you were saying, the Tiny's had an incredible start. He's got Soul Ring queued up, which I find interesting. I really don't want him to delay his blink timing at all, because I think he's in a game where he can really snowball out of control because of the squishy lineup that Dire have, but Soul Ring is going to slow down the blink a little bit. But yeah, like you were saying, he's had quite the recovery. He's still a hero that, again, if like you don't have the enemy supports putting emphasis on stopping the Tiny from getting the water runes and the power runes, then top lane Icarus.
Yeah, Icarus is getting very low here. Does pop the wand to keep himself alive, and they managed to find 2 kills inside of a very well-placed arena of blood there, coming through from the Icarus Mars.
Unfortunately, Wraith King didn't have enough mana.
Mars actually finding Reem, lacking on the Ancient Camp. Pops the combo, not quite enough damage to finish him off, and now Reem looking to get aggressive. The rest of Radiant have just arrived though, and UTS Esports looking to get a little bit aggressive. Reginald biding his time for this Viper to arrive, and here he comes unleashed, looking to get aggressive onto Saitama here, who's trying to do his best to juke around the trees, but he's only going to walk face first into Psycho's Lion, who's got the CC to lock him up, and they're going to find Ray and Saitama getting taken down. Ray managing to deny himself though to the neutral creep.
Yeah, but big props to the rotations coming through, keeping the Magnus alive there. And they did unblock the Ancient stack as well. So I'm still Radiant. I at least like what they're doing with putting a lot of emphasis on making sure that the Magnus isn't able to take these Ancients for free. They recognize this is a hero that puts a lot of emphasis on farming around the triangle camp. We saw previously, of course, blocking it up and also trying to soak up that experience now and maybe get a pick off on the Tiny. But unfortunately, they don't have the numbers advantage there. Just lack of heroes that were making the movements from Radiant.
Very aggressive here onto Unleashed. It's going to be a nice, quick, easy 3 versus 1, clicking all their buttons on the Viper. And you mentioned this in draft, Viper. Not a hero that is very hard to kill when you catch them out of position at all. Now, one thing that I do want to pay attention to is this Hoodwink here who, you know, it's something that you do see very good supports do, but not something that you would see typically a lot of supports doing, you know, usually in like an AEL Uni level of tournament. And that is just being very, very heads up about, oh, my position 2 is farming other lanes or is ganking and there is an open mid lane. I'm just going to go get some free solo golden XP and scale up that little bit faster. And there's, you know, having that, like, the knowledge to just go take the open lane ahead of time, and the communication there from that team is really impressive.
Yeah, without a doubt. And there's a lot more emphasis on trying to do that now as well, because we see how important stacks are in the game, and how important consistently pulling the wave and just giving your core solo experience. And, you know, we see all these position 2s where, mid lane actually, Wraith King
Does have that ultimate available, so unlikely to get the kill here, but they are just going to allow him to back off, get a little bit of pressure onto this mid lane tier 1.
Yeah, we see right now, like, a lot of the position 2s, Templar Assassins, Magnus, Lina, just, you know, to name a few, they are all heroes that are really easily able to fall back into the jungle, as we actually have some heroes connecting mid.
Yeah, this Wraith King is maybe going to go down, but he does have the ultimate available. Big Icarus dive is going to do quite a bit of damage to UTS. And now they're trying to do their best to CC up this tiny. Finger of Death comes through, and Psycho is going to finish that one off. Now going to walk out of range of the egg. Icarus looking to get aggressive here. Arena of Blood, the spear connecting onto Psycho's line. RP lands onto 1. Reem looking to finish off Icarus here in the middle lane. Ray doing his most to get the solar beam damage out, but unfortunately it's not enough, and he's going to get smacked down by that lion, and they're looking for more. Vengeful Spirit going to be joining the rest of his teammates back at the fountain, and that is going to be a huge 4 for 1 in the favor of UTS. In the favor of GIGACHADELAIDE, I should say.
Yeah, this is a big worry right now with how greedy of a lineup GIGACHADELAIDE have with their Mag, Wraith King, and the Viper as well. The fact that they're 2,000 net worth ahead when you've got a lineup that wants to be just really farming as fast as possible is a big worry. I mean, they're going to hit a timing here where they'll get a mass amount of items accumulated before the side of Radiant too. I mean, you see Juggernaut, he's really struggling the net worth, even though he's ahead of the Wraith King. I mean, it doesn't matter, like, Wraith King will get amped by the Empower.
Yeah, Wraith King, a very tricky hero to deal with when he gets overly fed. Especially when you're running a lineup like this that maybe is not the best at dealing with him. You could maybe go for the Diffusal on the Juggernaut, potentially. Try and get some mana burn that way, but...
Yeah, there's definitely multiple routes that the Jug can take. At least he's not going Battle Fury. That's kind of a dead item at the moment, but, you know, Maelstrom will keep him up in a little bit of farm. It does scale really well with his Omni Slash as well, with the attack speed once he gets some Mjolnir. But like you were saying, Diffusal Blade's quite the way to deal with the Wraith King. So far, we've seen him still die a couple times without Reincarnation, so, I mean, he's got the one, but hasn't held any mangoes in the inventory, so maybe that's something to look at another time, just so, you know, in case he can get that mass burst of mana back. But
they found Icarus here in the top side. Bushwhack does connect, and that is going to be a nice easy kill for the side of GIGACHADELAIDE. Going over to Psycho once again. Not able to give it over to Unleashed. You are talking about, you know, these ganks not really going over to the cause, but it's like it's not really mattering all that much in these fights.
Yeah, no, honestly, you don't care about the Viper taking it. It does look like Unleashed is trying to scale, but you want the Lion to get a lot more farm, or the Hoodwink as well, because these are heroes that are going to be providing your initiation. You know, Psycho does have that blink queued up, but we've got a 5-man smoke from Radiant, actually 4-man smoke. They don't have Mars, which is a key component.
Swap comes through onto the Wraith King into the toss, and this looks like it's going to be the first life of Wraith King getting melted down relatively easy, but here comes Reem skewering into the middle of things with that RP available. Juggernaut does pop the Omni Slash, but it's only going to be hitting creeps. That is such unfortunate RNG. Massive Arena of Blood, though, does lock up 3 members of GIGACHADELAIDE here. Whoa. But look at the Earth Splitter from Psycho. It hits 3 people and completely turns the fight around, and Icarus is going to be the last one to go down there. GIGACHADELAIDE come up huge.
But no one died. No one died on Dire at all. What an RP. Mag, I think, found 4, sets up for Psycho's Earth Spike as well. They weren't doing a great job to commit to deal with the Supernova. Beautiful position from the Phoenix, but that just wasn't enough. You see, the net worth lead was very far in Dire's favor, but the big issue is the experience lead. Early on, that's where a lot of the damage comes through, and you saw it was just lacking there in that team fight. And Radiant, they're going to try and contest mid, though.
Yeah, you're completely right. Magnus here, in terms of XPM, well and truly the highest in the game. Over 100 higher than his opposing position 2. Really speaking truly to how this man is farming right now.
So this is at least a shining spot for Radiant, that the Tiny's got a blink, and they've got very good vision around bot. They know Wraith King's here, doesn't have reincarnation, so they potentially can jump him, but nice awareness.
Yeah, Ray here, 0 and 6 on this Phoenix, unfortunately.
How close is Psycho to his blink? Okay,
1400 gold.
Yeah, he's still... I mean, he's doing okay in net worth, but he's a bit behind. Again, though, like Dire, they're not too worried. Oh, Wraith King's actually going to the Radiance. Okay, so this is a bit of a greedy build, but the armor will allow him to fight early.
It might be a case of just being that fed at the moment that, you kind of are okay with maybe going for that greedier build. Going for that very long, difficult to build Radiance. But once he does get it, obviously is going to be very strong at not only being just a big threat in fights of him being able to sit there, proc that burn. Also going to probably do wonders at, accelerating his farm as well to really get ahead of this Juggernaut even more. Only time will tell. But one thing that I do want to mention in that last fight as well is Juggernaut. It does happen sometimes, and when it does, it's unfortunate. But he popped the Omni Slash, and it immediately targeted itself.
Not the Hoodwink. It's a big kill, actually. Yeah, 448 gold. The Icarus will find it. They've also read into Unleash.
They might be able to find Unleashed as well. The Icarus dive comes through into the Magic Missile. Earth Splitter. Massive RP onto 2 members, though, coming out from Reem into the Finger of Death. They find 1, they find 2. Saitama trying to get away the best he can. A good heads up. Hex is going to do the trick there. Viper might actually go down here from the Phoenix. No, indeed. He's going to barely live. And they find themselves, once again, no losses and 4 kills.
I mean, this is the issue. He's got maxed out corrosive skin, which is 25% magic resistance. And you take a look at the itemization. Strength Threads, Dragon Lance, he's going to the BKB next item. Just a lot of survivability. And they're recognizing, Radiant, they have the burst. Once they go through the burst, though, there's not a whole lot left in the tank. And now this gives you 2 blink timing. Psycho and Reem just completed this. So, this game's going to get a whole lot more difficult.
They have to be very careful of Reem on this Magnus. These RPs have been quite spectacular.
Yeah, and it's going to get even easier now, isn't it? With
Saitama maybe finding a quick little left-right good night, and that's the tiny special, the blink in into the toss avalanche, and just completely kills him with negative counterplay.
And how close is he to Echo? Okay, he's really, really close, in fact. 100 gold, so he's sitting very comfortable in net worth. Jug building this Sunjin Yasha. I mean, I do feel like Jug late game can be a bit of a scary factor. I mean, a lot of physical damage is going to get amplified as well with the Wave of Terror. They've already got a medallion. If Radiant take a decent fight, which they still do have very strong team fight, then they can take Roshan with ease. It's just... can you execute? Like, the vision right now on Dire is so spot on. They're seeing 2 heroes swing to the mid lane, which is the Venge and the Mars. So they might be able to cut them off.
The Juggernaut here does almost have that max rank healing ward. Pretty underrated in fights.
Max in trouble.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, does look like... oh, great swap actually from the Vengeful Spirit is going to get Icarus out to safety. They do get the Arena of Blood. It's going to lock the Viper in, and they're going to blow the Omni Slash as well to finish him off. And you just saw how tanky he was.
Into Roche. Start hitting it.
Does look like maybe they're not wanting to go for the Roche. They want to go for more, and they're going to find the toss on Reem back into the rest of his team. We're going to wonder if he's going to be able to get out of this one. No skewer available to get him over the wall, and that is indeed going to be the Magnus going down.
Oh no, there's your opportunity. They want another kill. Wraith King so far away from the team.
They are looking for him, but the Wraith King looking to TP out. Great Magic Missile is going to lock him up, though. Here comes Icarus and Saitama. The Avalanche Toss combo is going to melt down the majority of his health bar, and there we go. First life of Wraith Kings getting taken down. Do they have the abilities to lock him up? Yes, they do. Magic Missile going to be next in line. Icarus trying to body block the best he can, doing a wonderful job. Here comes Sir Squire, though, with a great three-man bushwhack. Psycho looking to finish off one with the Finger of Death. He's able to find it, popping the swap to try and get his teammate out to safety, but it's only going to get the Vengeful Spirit into his own demise. And Saitama managing to get out with his life, but is it worth it? Finding themselves a 2-for-1 on that Wraith King. And they're looking for more, actually. Psycho blinking forward aggressively with the Earth Spike. And this is going to be Icarus dive into the Fire Spirits. It's going to land. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. Ray finding the second kill needed for UTS.
Okay, well, they're bringing this back. 3,000 deficit for the side of UTS. Juggernaut closing in on the Sergeant Yasha. Still needs a little bit of gold, about $1,000 away from that, but he's still farming relatively well on Messi, but I'm impressed with how tiny he's keeping up in farm. We'll see what the next item of choice is going to be for him, if he opts for a BKB or kind of continues maybe into some scaling. Good Sergeant Yasha. Feel like it might be a little bit more of the stock standard just BKB here, but yeah, we do see Radiant, they can show up huge. The really only way Dire have been winning team fights is off the back of like the 3-4 man RPs, and that is not going to continue to happen. So this is at least, you know, if you're on the comms of Radiant and you're saying like, yeah, we're losing these fights, but guys, there's no chance he's going to continue to get this many heroes in RPs as the game goes on.
Yeah, they're going to be all about that mental strength, mental fortitude. They do have the Juggernaut, as we discussed, and Juggernaut, you know, with that Vengeful Spirit, Wave of Terror, is going to be the big scaling threat in this game, for sure. And again, you know, we talked about this beforehand. A lot of these games are just revolving around one position one that is going to be the biggest scaling hero in the game. And if he's able to, you know, fulfill that role, scale to kind of fill those shoes or not, or if the side of GIGACHADELAIDE aren't going to be able to close this one out in a nice, easy fashion. Only time will tell, but Smoke of Deceit popped in the Dire side jungle, and they're looking to rotate towards mid. See what they're able to do with this.
I want to see Wraith King in this fight. He's got Radiance completed, so they're looking to try and shove down mid, get a kill into an objective. I believe they saw Juggernaut though under the Observer Ward.
Oh, and there we go. Blink Hex into the Earth Spike on this Juggernaut. Great Bushwhack coming through from Sir Reginald. He's able to get the spin-off, though. 2-man RP into a 3-man Arena of Blood, though. Hello. Reem is getting very, very low here, but they're going to be able to finish off Icarus in the meantime. Juggernaut going down as well, but Reem going to get taken out finally due to all of the damage over time. Ray with a massive egg exploding onto 2 members of the Dire, but it's at the cost of his entire team. They're all going to die before the big CC comes through, and unfortunately, Saitama and Ray here, maybe not able to contend with 4 still remaining Dire side heroes.
I mean, still a 1-5 for Dire, but a bit unfortunate that Psycho just didn't drop the Finger of Death as soon as they caught the Jug. If they just, you know, no messing around, drop the ultimate, get the kill, then that transitions into a T1 tower. Maybe you don't get as many kills, but now you get that tower with ease. And Radiant, they don't have Glyph though to contest this, so should still go up for free.
Yeah, one thing to note as well in that last fight is Squire tried to pop the Sharpshooter onto the Juggernaut, which might have actually been enough lethal damage to kill him, but he mistimed it by just a little bit, and the spin was able to come through. The magic immunity popped, and the Sharpshooter didn't do anything to him. So, therefore, the Juggernaut was able to live for just that little bit extra, get the Omni Slash off, do quite a bit of damage with it. And just that little mistiming there actually cost them quite a bit. So, hopefully, don't see that sort of thing happen again.
Yeah, it was really cool as well with that arena placement. The healing ward was just on the outskirts, and Jug was getting healed up to at least a steady state where he's able to get that Omni Slash off. I'm not sure if the healing ward can pass through the arena wall. I don't know how it acts in that regard, but Radiant, they're smoked up.
They are going to get the swap into the magic missile onto Lion, but a well-placed blink is going to stop anything scary, and Vengeful Spirit might have bitten off more than she can chew as she's just going to get melted down by the Viper. They're looking for Icarus here, but the blink away from the bushwhack going to stop anything scary from ensuing. What do we think about this this dye in the river? Do we think it looks cool, or?
I'm kind of a big fan of the dyes. Not that I always forget to use them, but they're a nice little addition. I mean, of course, the river doesn't occupy too much of the map, so sometimes you don't see it often, but there's definitely some cool dyes. The blood one is a little bit too out there, but...
So it kind of looks like murky sewage water almost. It's a little bit yucky, but that is going to be the Aegis going over to GIGACHADELAIDE. They pop it onto Reem Nizzle.
That's a big one to pick up now as well, because you have 2 heroes with extra lives, and against Radiant, who are very reliant on this kind of team fight. Once Supernova expires, once the arena's down, Omni Slash as well, then Dire are going to be in a very comfortable position. They've almost got their level 18s coming through, some big item timings too. Blink on the Wraith King. Reem, I think, just picked up a BKB, so this is absolute go time for the boys on GIGACHADELAIDE, and they got another great ward positioning as well. Icarus and Phoenix are in trouble.
Yeah, Icarus and Ray have to watch out here. They do have the ultimates available. Blink Hex onto Icarus is going to be the call. Ray is almost going to get melted up before he can even click the egg button. Icarus popping the Arena of Blood, trying to get away as best he can, but looks like Wraith King going to get a little bit aggressive. He's going to have to turn around as Tiny is trying to blow up Psycho. Unfortunately, not having the lethal damage needed there. They are just trying to do their best to save teammates, but it's going to be at the cost of themselves, as Icarus having to waste the BKB to get out of there unscathed.
No, beautiful team fight. It's literally just the story. It feels like Division as well this game. Like we've seen multiple times where the side of GIGACHADELAIDE has had a very big advantage in observer wards and how they've been able to start these fights with that jump in previously. We also saw around the tier 1 tower where they jumped the Juggernaut because of the observer ward by the bottom outpost. So props have to be given here to the duo support, and it's really well showing from them so far. 8,000 net worth lead. Tier 2 tower is going to be claimed, so now they have the outpost controls. And I feel like, how long do we got left on the age? Yeah, still another 3 minutes, so they probably have to TP back, go bot, go and mid, get the lane shoved out, and then try and get this bottom outpost, and then we'll probably see them really just start to be a methodical, first Aegis close.
Certainly is a large amount of net worth on this Wraith King right now. We talked about how much this Radiance was going to scale his GPM, and it really has done that now, overtaking Magnus for the #1 slot, and he is just running around the map, just killing absolutely everything. Look at the cleaves. Empower doing its thing on a big strength hero like this.
Yeah, and honestly, I was a bit surprised that Reem wasn't giving him Empower a whole lot early. Oh, mid lane.
They actually are looking to maybe get aggressive onto Messi here. The spin does come through.
Nice toss.
Now they're going to be able to toss Reem under the tower. It does pop the skewer. It's going to bring Icarus into the middle of his team, actually. Maybe not where you want the Mars to be. And that is going to be a massive Arena of Blood. They find themselves the Hoodwink. They find themselves the Wraith King, or at least the first life of his own. And Magnus also having a second life here with that Aegis, is able to get a nice skewer onto Icarus here into the Finger of Death. They're going to finish him off. Meanwhile, though, Wraith King is trying to do his best to run away from 4 heroes, and I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get out with his life, and no, indeed, he is going to go down, but Unleashed looking for more. 3-man reverse polarity does land onto the side of UTS. Reem Nizzle coming up huge, and they're able to turn it around. They get 1, they get 2, and what was looking like a lost team fight turns quickly into a win as Reem Nizzle picks up a triple kill for GIGACHADELAIDE.
This Magnus, what's going on? How many multi-hero RPs are we seeing from him? This is crazy. I was so surprised that they were looking to reset. I mean, you wasted all your big ultimates on the first 2 lives of the Aegis and the Reincarnation, but Viper and Lion were really positioning too far in the backline. It didn't matter. A beautiful skewer from Reem, got the kill on the Mars. Then they were going 4-on-4. And you see, again, once the ultimates are wasted, they can turn back it around. And when you get an RP like that consistently, I was saying, I feel like this is not going to continue as the game goes on, but I'm obviously mistaken, my lord.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of these supports just being very strong in the meta. I gotta say, you know, Ancient Apparition and Winter Wyvern are just flat out not allowed to be picked in the first phase of draft in any game. And, you know, even if you ban those out, you know, these Lions, these Hoodwinks, still very strong indeed. And we're seeing exactly why in this game.
Yeah, it's a scary prospect here for them now. And Benji's showing very far up mid. I mean, that's just a
bit of an overextension here. That's going to be a quick and easy kill. Blink into the point and click stun. Finger of Death just to get a nice little stack there for Psycho. He's got 8 of them now. Plus 320 bonus damage.
Jesus.
That is quite a bit.
He's got 2200 health though. That's the big thing. Like, how do you kill this hero? Like, a Lion should not have this much health, but the fact that he's already got 8 stacks and he's already level 18, like he's one level behind a Wraith King at this game. Like, this hero can scale so incredibly well with the talents. And I mean, Reem, he's going Refresher next. He even got the Quickening Charm. The Horn Toss just makes these setups so much easier. And well, now you've got a Wraith King that can create all the chaos and have the mag that can find these big RPs. And
yeah,
do they think
and
about high gun though?
That's the thing too about his talents, right? Is even if you're not snowballing, getting all of those Finger of Death kills for the health on Finger of Death kills to be useful, minus 2 seconds on Earth Splitter is still very scary in its own right. The amount of CC that you can put out in a fight, even if you are a little bit underfed, is still very underrated. So always useful, but we've got a big fight breaking out here. One-man reverse polarity is used onto Icarus. The swap comes through though to get him out to safety, and they are looking to try and melt down the side of GIGACHADELAIDE inside of this arena of blood. But a big use of the Supernova is going to find themselves unleashed in combination with the Omni Slash. And now it does look like GIGACHADELAIDE maybe have to back out away from this one. But Peach SG Messi, he wants more. He's looking for this Wraith King. The BKB is going to get popped. But now he's looking to spin towards this backline. And the rest of his team are coming to back him up. They do find the spear landing itself onto Reemnizzle. And now the skewer coming through all the way onto PSG Messi. And he's looking to flip him over his head and get out to safety. The Glimmer Cape from Reginald maybe going to allow him to live for just a little bit longer, but meanwhile on the bot side, still going on. Lion finding himself a pick up onto Saitama, and now they're looking for more. Wraith King, the stun coming through onto Icarus, combined with the Bushwhack, the CC, so relentless. Reem blinking, the skewer doesn't connect onto anything, but now look, Wraith King wants more. Brilliant use of the Earth Spike there to cancel the Icarus dive. Psycho playing out of his mind in these fights. They find one, they find two. Triple kill for Wraith King, and he's looking for more. The buybacks have come through from this Vengeful Spirit, but it doesn't look like it's going to even matter. Ultra kill for this Wraith King. Might even look for the Rampage as a skewer under Fountain. A little bit too greedy. Reemnizzle is going to get melted down. Another buyback looking like it's going to be coming through from Vengeful Spirit. Double Bushwhack though. Well played indeed from Squire Reginald. They do have to watch out very low here indeed, and Saitama has that avalanche available, maybe looking to get aggressive once again, but the Sun, this Wraith King, is just too strong. They don't have the damage to bring him down, and he certainly has the damage to do it to them, as he's going to find himself a nice unofficial Rampage, I guess you could say, and GIGACHADELAIDE a long but hard-fought victory, but it does look like they are going to come through with the racks, or are they? Arena of Blood gets dropped from Icarus. Does he have the damage to melt down this Wraith King? I don't think it's looking likely. The BKB is popped, and now he's running for his life back to the Fountain. Wraith King turning once again back to the barracks, and it seems like after what has been such a long fight, they finally claim their prize and get out to safety.
This is a scary dire squad, honestly. They're looking like they're kind of a well-oiled machine. I mean, you do see... maybe I'll take that back a little bit. I mean, diving the Fountain and the Magnus. But again, I mean, Reem, how could you not? He's feeling himself 10, 3, and 22 he was before that death. And, you know, now just overall a full set of barracks advantage, 22,000 net worth lead. And, you know, they're continuing to find the accumulation in these items. Almost the Assault Cuirass completed on the Wraith King. So this is going to be very nice against the minus armor that the Venge can provide. And, I mean, Jug, it's all their damage at the moment. And you know, he doesn't really have damage items. Sanjin Yasha, Skadi, I mean, it's not really going to help out in a lot of the team fights here.
Yeah, Psycho queuing up a Aghanims as well here. Very, very scary for the enemy team. And I think he might have actually just purchased it. This is it here, and that is it. Aghanims is just going to basically get outright bought from full. So much gold sitting on that Lion for absolutely no reason, and that is going to be very scary now. We talked about the Finger of Death stacks available, plus 540 damage on what is already an 850 damage ability, and now you're telling me that is hitting in an AoE?
Alright, well, Mars is dead. Good to know, Icarus.
Yeah, Icarus, there's not going to be a lot he can do here. Blink into the Hex, into the Earth Spike, into the Bushwhack,
Jesus
and look
Christ.
at that finger damage.
I did 1,759 damage. So ridiculous.
His line is absolutely massive. Psycho having an incredible position 5 performance.
And it's back up. And he's got mana drain. Someone don't kill the range. Oh, of course, someone killed the range creep. Psycho's not happy about that.
20-second cooldown. What can you do? He's going to have so much uptime on that ability. Wave of Terror to try and stop this onslaught onto the mid-racks. What is this BM? Oh my god. He's going to be pulling out the reverse polarity. Is able to delay it. And there it is. A second reverse polarity with the refresher orb, I'm guessing. Yes, indeed. And he's able to blow the entirety of this UTS lineup into the middle of his team, and that is going to be a easy 4 kills for the side of GIGACHADELAIDE as they claim the second racks, and now looks like GGs are going to be called and the throne is going to be taken. GIGACHADELAIDE coming out with a huge victory in game 1.
Yeah, wow, what a performance from them. I think just your team to keep our eyes out. I mean, I know it's on the game 1, but how they were able to execute the laning phase, I think the Hoodwink gave them so much to work on. The fact that they were able to have an incredible bottom lane, your mid went pretty even. Your Tiny still props to him with how he was able to play this game, but it's just, you can't shy past the fact that there were so many multi-hero RPs. Like, I can we even count on one hand how many times Reem found like 3 heroes with an RP? Like, they're just execution overall as a team from GIGACHADELAIDE is something to fear, and I'm really intrigued on our UTS how they want to try and prioritize the next draft and what the bans are going to be. Maybe it will be a little bit different. You know, you might have to prioritize the Hoodwink ban, honestly, with how Squire played it. That was a scary prospect.
Yeah, certainly. I can imagine Lion ban is something that may be in the cards for this upcoming game, because what a performance from Psycho. 13, 5, and 23 on this Lion, almost getting his level 25 talent. Cannot imagine what would have happened if he had an AoE Hex or that massive Earth Spike range. Just absolute chaos would have ensued for sure, but certainly the position 5 performance that you only see once in many games, and you know, I can't sing enough praises about exactly the kind of Lion game we just saw.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, overall, we could say many things about all the individual players. Like you said, the Lion, the Mag, and the Hoodwink, the Wraith King at the stage 1 when he was able to get his farm unleashed, did very well in the lanes and was able to give them enough space and tank up the abilities. And yeah, GIGACHADELAIDE, what a solid game 1 performance.
Alrighty, folks. Well, we are going to throw it over to a quick little 5-minute break, and then we're going to be back with Game 2 coming at you, where we will see if UTS Esports are able to correct some of the mistakes that we saw in Game 1 and potentially bring this to a 1-1 tie in a best of 2, or if GIGACHADELAIDE will claim themselves a clean 2-0 victory. Only time will tell, and make sure to stay right here to AEL Uni to find out more. And welcome back, folks, to AEL Uni. We're having a Game 2 between GIGACHADELAIDE and UTS Esports here. I'm Kadius, joined here on the casting desk with Ares once again. And I'm excited to hop into this Game 2. What do you think are maybe the changes necessary from the side of UTS to pull themselves ahead in the second match?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't want to be too critical because, like, I was a big fan of their draft personally. I was very, very much a fan of how they opened up with the Phoenix, with the Mars. I think that's a combo that we've just seen through pretty much a couple of years now, where you go for a strong team fight pairing into, which gives you a lot of late game potential as well. I think maybe it started to fall off with the Venge. It didn't really look like the Venge fit their draft at a stage where, you know, maybe that's somewhere where they could potentially change that into a bit more of a different 5 or 4 depending on the case. But I think it's just, I don't think it's what UTS could do. I think GIGACHADELAIDE just absolutely up the lanes. And I think the issue is when you're going up against a team that has like a Mag and a Wraith King who don't come online as early but are going to scale really well into the late game. They need like first 15, about first like 13 minutes, I'd say, to farm, and they can't make plays. And when you're already 2,000 gold behind, it's a scary, like it's already looking like a route for a loss, unfortunately. So I think maybe just putting a lot more emphasis on lanes, and then also having this scaling win condition, because that's what you were saying as well earlier on with how the games you've been seeing, there's been this emphasis on teams that have the better late game is playing incredibly well. So this is probably an Andros Pudge, and this is going to be another treat to watch.
Yeah, so Lion is going to get picked up by UTS this time. Obviously, one of the star heroes on the Game 1 GIGACHADELAIDE lineup, but they're going to answer it with a Pudge Viper lock-in. Viper, again, could be flexed position 2, but maybe likely to be seen picked up by the same player up in the off lane here. But Pudge, a hero that people have some controversial opinions on, but it seems like you're fairly aware of what the Andros Pudge is capable of. Is that a good thing, or?
Good question. Is it a good thing? I don't know. It's any Australian supports always like to play the Pudge sometimes. You know, we have some pretty toxic pubs, and I feel like sometimes the Pudge will come out. So, but I mean, we saw what he could do on the Hoodwink, and I feel like we're going to be able to see what he can do on the Pudge as well. If he can land as many hooks as what he did with Bushwhacks, then I feel like GIGACHADELAIDE are going to be in a really good position. But UTS, they open up with their duo support. The Lion Abaddon gives you a great purge for the Dismember, a great way as well, because I was speaking about in the lane that the Jug is going to need a lot of levels to get rid of the poison attack. But this game, you've got a support to do so. Now, the matchup can be a bit iffy because Viper does have this natural break in the Nether Toxin, so they can kind of counter each other back and forth. Abaddon feels nice in the lane, so you don't have to kind of draft someone like a PL, Jug, Naga, like any hero that has a built-in Dispel. But as the game goes on, what Abaddon thrives on is being this hero that plays on the front line, tanks up abilities, and is able to give your team a lot of information on where the team's coming. He can pop the smoke, which gives you time to set up, get your supports in a position on the backline, your squishy heroes. But when Abaddon is versing someone with a break already, then it takes that out of play. So the matchup goes back and forth, and that's a beautiful thing about Dota as well, because you think about a lot of matchups, often there are times where you can still turn it maybe 10% in your favor, maybe with an item or like a level advantage or something like that. So I think that's always something to look out for.
Certainly. Well, the bans, again, second phase of bans looking very similar to how we saw in Game 1. This time, though, Magnus is going to get taken off the board, not wanting to deal with the Reem Nizzle Magnus like we saw in that first game. Can't remember who they banned instead last time, but nevertheless, should see some new heroes come through for them.
It's at the top of my head, and I can't remember it now. Oh, it's right there. No, that was GIGACHADELAIDE.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend is still banned.
Oh, it's right there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I like the ban. Again, we see the emphasis on the range Agi carries. Luna, Deuce, Terrorblade gone, so probably the best 3 carries at the moment aren't available. and the respect ban on the Magnus too. So we'll probably see. I feel like they'll reveal their 5 here for GIGACHADELAIDE. They've got a lot of flexibility heading into because they have the 24th pick, so they don't really want to reveal where the Viper's going. So I think this is where you just pick up a support because you already see the Lion Abaddon, and then that means your 17th pick can answer a call, and there is a support. So okay, maybe they play the Andros 4 Hoodwink, maybe they give him the Pudge. The Hoodwink can still be played in multiple roles, can still be played as a 5 for Psycho. You can give it as a 2 if you really want to on Reem. And they actually pick the Dragon Knight into 2 breaks, which is not an easy task at all. You now really need to rely on having stuns to keep the Dragon Knight locked in the Nether Toxin and set up for the Sharpshooter. So perfect example could be the Faceless Void. Void against a Lion, though, is a bit of an iffy matchup because he's a hero that very much relies on his mobility and making sure he can get at least his Time Walk off to then get the bonus health back. So anyone having instant stuns, also DK fulfills that role as well. And it's a bit slow, so the Dragon Knight being able to take early towers. But I'm just looking for any like big AoE stun that does not get affected by the Aphotic Shield.
Yeah, Reem, a player who I know for a fact has a bit of a hero ocean of a pool. So we're going to see exactly what he can bring out here. He's one of those players that, you know, when he is playing pubs, he does like hitting the random button and taking it pos too. So honestly, it could be anything, but Lifestealer, it has just come back to me. That was what the ban was in game 1. That is not present in game 2, and it's going to get picked up as a result.
Dire team back.
Sorry, because they went Mars Phoenix, so the lifesteal would have been great there. It's also very good here too. Again, it's another hero that doesn't want to be instantly hexed or instantly dragon-tailed, but the lane, if it is a DK off lane, it should still be okay. Lifesteal is not as much of a lane dominator. You might have to go Orb Corrosion, but by that stage, DK's already got like plus like 12 armor or something ridiculous. Your HP regens through the roof as well. So Lifesteal will survive that lane. They now need an Infest Bomb carrier, so I have to imagine this is now transitioning. Just whatever GIGACHADELAIDE have, they cannot play what they've got as a position 2. They need like Storm doesn't look very good again against all the control, but you need some Spirit-esque hero to jump so the Lifesteal can jump in you and get on top of the Drow.
Certainly, I do know that Reem is a bit of a spirit enjoyer. He does play both the Ember and the Storm, so can see what he's going to pull out here. Only time will tell. But I do definitely think that, yeah, the Viper probably unlikely to be taken into a 2 here. So Dragon Knight, you're confident that could be taken in the off lane rather than maybe a position 2? And what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, you can definitely play it as a 2, and I think at a lot of this stage of the games we'll see, like the caliber of the players, they'll probably prefer it as a 2 because maybe the position 3s don't have enough time to learn some of these heroes in the off lane that can be flexed. Like a Dragon Knight is probably honestly one of the easiest position 3s to play at the moment with how basic the hero is, but it's still a little bit different to some others. I've just been preferring him a lot when I'm watching like the Loop Bet, the Pro Series, or other tournaments as well. Like when you're looking at the major with how the DK was able to play as the off lane. So I think you can play him anywhere. If you do play him mid, that matchup versus Viper, if they put the Viper mid, then it's a bit rough, and then you go for like a Mars on GIGACHADELAIDE, which kind of gives you an Infest Bomb carrier. It's very good versus the Drow. I'm not a huge fan of it versus the Abaddon though, just because the shield for the hard to spell. Whatever GIGACHADELAIDE go for, it has to be an Infest Bomb carrier, and it has to be a way to get on top of the Drow. But UTS, what do they ban? So they're getting rid of their own Storm potential and the Lina, so they do think this DK is going to go off.
Yeah, looking to try and attack the mid lane champion pool of UTS Esports and take out some of those more scary heroes. Ability to lock down.
Is it Doom left for UTS? Doom is left if they want to flex that. I think they need if you put whatever they go for, it needs to be pretty tanky too, because Drow needs a lot of bodies on the front line. Like you got DK, Abba. They take towers already. You've already got stuns.
Oh.
It's going to be a Queen of Pain, likely a position 2 Queen of Pain, I would imagine, which does put the Dragon Knight pos 3 and the Drow pos 1. And then Abba pos 4, Lion pos 5, I would imagine.
Yeah, I believe that would be the case. I'm not a huge fan of Cop at the moment, but they don't have a lot of suns on GIGACHADELAIDE, so it might work out in their favor. I think.
You think the pure damage might be good for dealing with Lifestealer and his magic community? And there's the Mars. You were just talking about it.
Yeah, I think the pure, at least it does give you that option to. And it's also nice as well because the pushback, like that's another thing that gets really overlooked from the Sonic Wave, but just hiding the lifesteal a little bit. It's not what I was looking for with the last pick though from UTS. Like I really wanted them to have another body. So this game is very reliant on Icarus from having a good lane. But what are you? You're playing. That's a Ray Abaddon. So Ray's their 4. No, he was their 5. So it is still the Lion DK lane against the lifesteal Hoodwink. He should play fine. This should be fine lane.
Does look like it's going to be a Viper 2 as well.
Yeah.
That is going to be going into the mid lane against Queen of Pain. How do you think that matchup in the mid lane will maybe fare?
It should be Viper. I mean, at least Quap has a way to blink out when you get multiple poison attack charges. But okay, so the issue is that both these heroes are very much reliant on lane dominating, and I don't think Quap can do that versus the Viper. And then that's the reason why you pick the hero. Like you want to dominate the lane, force the enemy position to put a lot more of his economy into regen just to sustain the lane. And Viper does not really have to worry about that because, honestly, Reen will probably go for like a 1-1-1 bit. I'd like him to go 1-1-1 and get a corrosive skin level at 3 just for the 10% magic resistance. He might not because, honestly, every level you get in poison attack is a super valuable. So maybe he goes it for 4 at level 4 instead, but the nice thing for Quap is, again, she's got a lot of mobility, so when you stack up the poison attack, you can just reset, and it also helps you being able to secure your bottle charges, because Viper's pretty slow and immobile, so I think Viper should come out on top, but there's definitely ways where where Quap can play it, and also I was really impressed with how Tiny caught back up in game 1, so, if he can kind of keep on par with how he played, I think he should do okay.
Yeah, I do also think they've had a substitute for game 2.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
So,
They have?
Yeah, I don't remember Luffy being in their game 1 lineup.
I remember the Enigma.
Begins.
Well, at least his photo, the Enigma one, is Unleashed in trouble.
Unleashed might be a little bit dead here. Indeed, the Earth Spike comes through from the Lion. He's going to find himself getting taken down. That's going to be UTS on the board, though. It's definitely something they needed.
Yeah, take that first blood. How's the banner department looking? It's 2 for 2. So
Reem with a great block here in the mid lane.
Oh, okay. It's that's the unfortunate thing. Like Viper, you go level 1 Nether Toxin because what you want to do is you want to shove the lane in, get all you need to get all of the experience for that level 1 wave, because then you've got a 2 advantage while the enemy mid laner is trying to farm 4 creeps under a tower while you're getting attacked by poison attack. But because the Quap just got 1 deny, it means that Reen doesn't have the level 2 before the Quap, and then he wasn't able to really utilize probably like 300 health that he could have taken away.
Very sad indeed. Well, we can have a look at some of the other lanes here. Safe lane for the Dire. Does look like this Pudge is just kind of doing your regular Pudge things, being an absolute menace, looking for those hooks. Ooh, he's actually able to find a nice one onto Luffy. Unleashed. They are able to just snag that one up. Nice and done. And that is the power of a good Pudge player, I suppose.
Yeah, well, he's got to continue with the trend. He's going to block the small camper cape. A little bit late there, but does he get the Courier snipe? It's a Ring of Basilius as well, which is a big snipe, but yeah, he's not going to be near the vicinity. So he's also got an Orb of Venom as well on Andros, so we'll see how this is going to help him in the lane. I mean, that plus we... Alright, so I'm going to keep tallies. 1 for 2. Anytime I miss one, then you got to let me know, alright?
Okay.
That belongs to me.
He's a little bit low on mana. Does pop the clarity here. Well, on the bot
Wait,
side.
is Lion dead? Oh my, Psycho.
Very nearly. Icarus really kind of sitting in the front line. Doesn't even have Dragon Blood skilled yet. You can only imagine this lane is going to only get harder as he does get points in that passive. Do you think this is a lane where he goes for the Dragon Blood max first, or...
Oh. This is a wonky... Okay, so you really don't want to put points in Breathe Fire, because DK as a side lane doesn't have... You're not going to get as much gold, and you don't have access to the water runes, so you don't have enough mana to suspend to use the Breathe Fire. So often it's like a 0-1-2 build into potentially a Breathe Fire at 4, or sometimes just 0-2-2. But yeah, he probably puts more points in Dragon's Blood than anything else. On top, Ray again. I missed if he got the hook, but I don't think Abaddon would have fell that low without it. So I'm gonna chalk it up to a hook.
Fair enough. I mean, Ray is getting killed, unfortunately. Luffy on this drought just does have to farm up the best he can. This would be a great spot for a pull, though. Would expect we'll see someone coming in the next couple of waves. This is quite far up right now, and being this far up against the Pudge is a little bit on the scary side.
They do have a very good ward though from Dire, at least you're in the kind of outskirts of the lane where the Pudge wants to play. Maybe Andros has got a sentry coming out to him potentially. See mid lane, how's this battle occurring at the moment? Reem with 3 points up in the poison attack. I didn't see when he went Corrosive Skin, but I do like that he's got a value point. So the Queen of Pain is, again, going to take a lot of damage here. Just has to really rely on his mobility. You know, I think you only put 1 point Shadow Strike, and honestly, like, maybe he could have gotten away with going no points just to have, you know, more points in Blink just for the lower cooldown. And again, top lane. Ray, he's going to fall. Another hook from Andros. What are we, 3 from 4?
The kills are so fast, it's almost hard to catch them, as, you know, Pudge is just going to land the meat hook into a nice little secure of a kill, but it's going to be a nice pickup from Psycho once again. Showing off his prowess as a 5 player. Finds himself a nice little pickup onto the Lion.
Okay, been very impressed with Psycho so far. You know, game 1, his Lion was on point. Now they're showing that they can flex the Hoodwink to a 5 as well. So both their supports have got very good, you know, Hoodwink capabilities to play it.
Yeah, that's one thing about the lifestealer here in this lane is, you know, not a ton of kill pressure coming out from this Dragon Knight, I would say. And it does mean that, you know, lifesteal is just going to be able to smack creeps and, you know, do what he does best and heal and just stay at full health the whole lane.
Yeah, he's doing quite well at the moment here. What, third in last hits for the lifestealer?
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Just let him go.
Do it.
Oh, he's looking for the courier here. Actually able to snipe it.
One hits the courier. Okay, Quop's got ulti. This is still a
He's
difficult
gonna
kill.
blink.
820
Scream
health.
of pain comes through.
No way.
Does have the Sonic Wave, but not even necessary. A couple of screams. That is going to be all that's needed to find themselves the pick up onto Pudge.
Quopper's, okay, this is also another position 2 to watch out for, because game 1, he caught up very well. Game 2, he's top of the net worth now in an unfavorable lane matchup, so big props to how Sadama is playing it.
There we go. That's one thing Queen of Pain's very good at, is using that Scream of Pain to farm the small camp very quickly.
Another kill. Top
Oh my
hit.
goodness.
This is going to be a lot of flesh heap stacks once Andros gets that level
He's got
in.
4 already.
Wait, Reem? What the heck? Reem just died to a neutral. So let's see if Andros is going to take those stacks away. But that's not very good for Viper to unfortunately be losing his life. I'm not sure where his net worth is too. Okay, he's going Boots of Travel first. He's got 700 gold in the bank as well. But yeah, overall, there's Radiant again, 1,000 net worth lead off the back of the strong lanes that they've had so far. Quap is going to be leading the charge from Dire, still has the ultimate available and treads completed. So we'll look to see how active she wants to get. She's got the maxed out Scream, so a lot of burst damage early. And you want to put that ultimate on cooldown as early as possible because it is pretty much a guaranteed kill with the damage. And
the hook comes
we'll see
through.
Come through top.
They are looking for the hook onto Luffy. They're not able to find it, but Arena of Blood does get locked through. But here comes Queen of Pain. Screen of Pain and a great Sonic Wave is going to get these two Radiant heroes very low indeed. And they don't have the damage to finish off Luffy. Lion coming through with the TP as well, just to secure the second kill. It does look like UTS are going to come up huge with 2 kills up in the safe lane.
Oh, we're like 4 from 8 now with these hooks, so 50%.
Top tower is under attack.
Mediocre, Andros. I was expecting better, but top lane's going to take a lot of damage here, and they may need to bring more heroes to defend it on Radiant. They have TP on Mars. Yeah, Mars has got TP. No Arena, unfortunately. Yeah, Viper's not even going to swing on over. That's another miss of the hook there. So what are we, 4 from 9 now?
I do like that, you know, he recognized that he was getting a ton of these early kills, and he has gone for the value point in Flesh Heap. Normally, you know, you won't even see Pudges put a point in it until they have completely maxed out Hook and Rot. But no, he just grabbed that early value point because he did have 4 stacks already, so I do kind of like that.
Yeah, with how that lane was going, it's like you were saying, we don't really see too many early levels up in the Flesh Heap, so it's going to increase his tank ability a decent amount. Unleashed is
getting just the Drow Ranger treatment right now, forcing away the line to prevent the Earth Spike from coming through, but a good hook from Sir
Do we count that?
Reginald. Ally walking in a straight line. a half point?
No, I'm just seeing how you would tally that one up.
I'm not entirely sure. I'm not an expert in the Pudge hook.
In the Pudge hook tally, yeah, understandable. Honestly, I get that. You know, Dire doing well so far. Again, Cop, you know,
he's a little bit far up here once again, though. He's trying to look for the TP out, but the silence comes through, and they're going to be able to have the damage. No, he barely gets out in time. Back to the fountain to heal up.
And Hoodwink as well by the bottom outpost. Another pick-off. That's without having to commit the Sonic Wave. And I love this play. They're looking to set up with Icarus, who does have the Elder Dragon form, so any pick-offs gives them a lot of potential to take this tower. Right, if they need TP rotations, they need it now.
Ooh, that's going to be the hook landed, though, onto the Dragon Knight. A big Sonic Wave, though, is going to snag up one. Tries to use the Infest to buy himself a little bit of space, but I doubt it's going to last too long. Dragon Tail, no magic community there to stop yourself from going down. And that is going to be Icarus finding himself a double kill.
Well done.
Friendly word of advice.
Very, very, very well done. That's just a really high level play, honestly. You got the Elder Dragon form available on the DK, so you want to make a movement down to him because he's one of your strongest heroes. You get kills, then you can transition that into a tower. Radiant is still going to glyph, and they're bringing Psycho down.
Arena of Blood comes through, and here's the Boots of Travel from the Viper. TP's in onto the arena, and they're looking for Luffy, and it does look like they'll be able to find him here, getting the kill. Over to the Pudge. That's going to be his 5th Flesh Heap stack.
Yeah, so that's where the Drow needs to go back and farm the jungle. You show multiple heroes down bot and use a lot of abilities as well. Drow just has to start going back and farming the jungle. If you know your towers kind of take a little bit of damage. If you trade tower for tower, that's fine. But you know, dying like that is a bit on. It can definitely be avoided there. So again, you show all your heroes down bot. You got to get out of that lane.
Is that typical, the Boots of Travel first item rush on the Viper mid? Because we just saw it used to great effect in kind of combination with the Arena of Blood. He popped the Arena of Blood, and then basically Viper was able to just TP to a minion that was inside the arena and just pop up and mop up the Drow while she was still locked in that cage. So do you think that's more of like a composition thing with the Mars, or do you think that's like more standard?
Hook! Oh, Andros.
He's able to find that one onto Luffy, and that should be a nice kill onto the Drow.
Dire's top tower is under
I think we're up to 611 now? Actually, hang on, no. No, he's gone above 50% somehow. I don't know, I've lost count, but very good hit. Very, very good hook. Yeah, the Boots of Travel is just going to allow him to get active early and have this +1 effect like you were speaking about.
Ooh, not sure about this TP though, Quap.
Well, they're going to see us soon on the observe ward, but too far out of range for Squire.
She was able to get into safety, and there's going to be the pause coming through.
Good old lag, Aussie servers. So yeah, think about the Boots of Travel more. It definitely does slow. I mean, it's 2,000 gold, but so I think the reason why he's going for it is that Radiant really don't push out lanes well at all. I mean, you take a look like Lifestealer is not strong at shoving out lanes. The Mars is relative mobile-ish once it gets phase and blink, but he can't really play the dead lane and then rejoin the team because he's the one that's supposed to be finding kills, so he's not going to be playing down bot. Pudge can't do that either. Hoodwink kind of can, so you're really relying on the Viper and the Hoodwink, but because Viper's pretty immobile, I mean, he's moving 395 now because of the plus 100 that he gets in the Boots of Travel. So without this in the Windlace, he really wouldn't be as fast as what he is. So I have to imagine this is kind of the reasoning behind that, because they don't have the greatest way to keep the lane shoved out, and that's super, super important. So he can do that. Also then look to get involved with the team, and we're still going to see once this pause comes out in a couple of seconds here that a fight should break out. Now I don't want Lifestealer here because he doesn't have armor just yet. So we'll see if he still wants to stick around.
Time will tell, but either way, we do have Pudge doing what he does best, sitting near the trees. Does look like he has an Aether Lens queued up for his first item. And one thing that I do know is that Pudge has kind of two builds, you could say, two identities that he kind of can go down these days. And one of them is, the very hook into dismember focused kind of Pudge gameplay, and the other one is like this walking, you just go maximum spell vamp and the rot and the octarine core, and you just walk around and you just do this massive AoE damage while healing. And I kind of like that. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly which one is more favored these days, but I think the fact that they've kind of been able to build Pudge's talents around two separate builds and two separate sort of playstyles is really interesting.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see actually. Drop top might be in trouble. Oh, yeah, come on, Andros.
Luffy is doing his best to hide in the trees. Might have to just chuck the hook out here, but it's going to come out too late, as that Drow is going to be able to secure herself a nice TP to safety. But now they are TPing into the mid lane as Arena of Blood has been dropped down onto Icarus on this Dragon Knight, and they are going to be able to find that kill there. Psycho securing up nicely with a sharpshooter. Great meat hook, though, is going to connect onto the line and find themselves their second kill of the fight. Now it looks like they're marching down onto this mid lane tier 1. GIGACHADELAIDE putting themselves up onto the board, ahead finally with a 2k gold lead.
They do very much lack ways to take objectives unless they get multiple kills like that, and especially without Lifestealer nearby. This hook, oh, nice spear. Sorry, nice shield positioning from Ray. God damn, Andros.
Dire's middle tower has been
So you were highlighting before the Pudge build. Position 4, we're not going to see as much farm as they're still sticking around mid though, Reem.
Yeah, great bushwhack into a spear is going to be able to keep them on their toes.
Okay, Andros. Line. Ray's positioning again with
very
the
tanky.
shield.
Sharpshooter
really
though comes through. That's going to be a lot of
it.
damage into the break. But here we go. That's going to be the big ultimate there. Borrow time is popped. They are finding themselves the Pudge though. Maybe trying to look for Reem as well. But good use of the Sonic Wave there is going to keep them on their toes. Mars gets a little bit too overzealous and he's going to go down, and a great blink into a scream of pain is going to find Viper as well. And they do find themselves 3 whole heroes of the side of GIGACHADELAIDE and looking to maybe take back this tier 1.
Yeah, very well played here for the boys in Thai. Honestly, that's off the back of Ray's positioning multiple times where he's just making sure he's in a position where he can get the Aphotic Shield off, purge off that hard dispel that could have netted them a numbers advantage for the side of GIGACHADELAIDE, and well, now they hit back, taking the tier 1 tower. Another mishook from Andros. What can we expect from him anymore? And it is space for the Lifestealer to be farming. He is working on this Sanj next. He has been getting a lot of space though, as Drow hasn't really been able to catch up too much in farm. I think this is Dragonlance completed. They do see Lifestealer though underneath an observe ward, but by the secret shot, Viper's caught out.
Yeah, they are looking for Viper here. Figure of Death is going to be used to skewer that one up. And now looks like this Lifestealer is going to be second in the chain of command. Great Meat Hook, though, is going to snag Saitama out from the back into the Arena of Blood, plus the Spear, plus the Sharpshooter. Saitama isn't even allowed to move. And now Dire have to be careful as they've lost one of their strongest heroes.
Icarus?
Icarus is going to be the next one to follow. Great. Interesting blink into TP position from Icarus there on the Dragon Knight, but it actually ends up working out in his favor.
Wait, Draz still farming this?
Might be a little bit greedy indeed. The blink into the spear backwards. God's Rebuke as well. Lifestealer now coming around to cut off her escape path. There's the Bushwhack, and this is going to be a nice kill onto Luffy, getting caught lacking in the topside Dire jungle.
Yeah, back and forth game we got here at the moment. It's only 1,000 net worth lead for Radiant. Very solid fight for them, though. And they're getting closer to these items. I mean, again, you take a look at the Drow, lacking 4 deaths, only 52 last hits. And it's all on the clock. I mean, with this Orca timing, this is an item. Bot lane, Bream might solo kill Icarus. Should be able to once the poison attack stacks up. Although he's got 23 HP regen, which
He's got so much health regen as well. That's what I was just about to say. But here comes Mars, looking for the God's Rebuke, misses both and the Spear. But they are just going to body block him off there. No way he can run. And a nice pickup there for the Radiant
lane
side.
works out. They found Drow again.
He's going to have enough room to blink. No, he's not actually. Psycho, the Sharpshooter, connects. And that is such a scary combination, actually. Dismember and Sharpshooter. You just hold him in place while the Hoodwink is just able to ramp up that ultimate damage until, boom, everything explodes at once. We do see here in the mid lane, Lifestealer is just using Infest
What am I watching?
on the cannon minion.
What? But send it to Bud so you can hit the tower. What's going on? Well, lane, they're setting up on Reem.
They do find themselves a nice hook there, and that's going to be a freak use of the Infest kill.
No way he TP's out. But he might tick out to the Orchid base. No, Reem's alive.
He's just doing his best to run away here. Saitama chasing him down. Does not have the Sonic Wave available, but here comes Radiant. They've all joined the Fae. 2-man Bushwhack is going to connect onto the side of the Dire heroes, and Saitama and Ray are just going to get melted down by the combination of abilities. And now Icarus, the last one left. Oh my goodness,
And
that
Ross.
might be a bit of a save coming through from the Pudge.
He's looking for redemption. He's just looking for Aethelins. Okay. He's about to have Mana for Hook. If they see Psycho, though. Okay. Psycho.
Does have to be careful here. The hook does connect, but he's just going to get hexed up. Maybe killed, actually. They do have the damage indeed. Luffy's there. The physical damage. Going to be able to get through Flesh Heap. Do they have enough CC to stop him here?
No,
they
they
don't.
They're all on cooldown. Oh, no.
Was able to TP out of there quite nicely. And what a bit of a fiesta. But I'm not even sure who came out on top of that. I would imagine it's going to be GIGACHADELAIDE. They do find themselves at a 4K gold lead.
Yeah, I'd say it's Radiant. They are still gonna, like, you do see Lifestealers only tickling heroes at the moment. He went for this Halberd build, so trying to minimize the damage output that Drow will be dishing. I don't feel like you have to itemize for the Drow, though, because of how far behind she is. And, oh, Saitama mid.
Yeah, maybe walking up a little bit too far here. Doesn't have that blink on cooldown. Now has it up. Is going to use it to blink over towards Ray. Get himself to safety.
Oh. Oof. Hook.
Oh, the hook is going to connect. I believe he had barely had vision on that one. They are looking for Lifestealer now, but Blink into the Arena of Blood coming through from Unleashed. Finds himself with 3 members of the Dire side. Big silence from Luffy from out of the arena, but he's not able to get into this fight. Icarus is still in the middle of things with the Aphotic Shield, and Ray has the borrowed time available. These are going to be very hard heroes to kill as they're focusing their attention down onto Unleashed. A great Sonic Wave is going to connect onto 2, and that's going to be Lifestealer being picked up, and they just don't have the damage to melt through the health bars of some of these heroes on UTS's lineup, and they're going to find themselves 3 kills.
Yeah, it was a big silence from the Drow. It stopped the last little half a second dismember, which would have been enough lockdown to kill off the Queen of Pain. You see she's able to blink away, then come back in at the later stage of that fight, dropping the Sonic Wave, which was enough to clean off the Mars and also the damage output they needed. As actually Psycho should be dead here too. Okay. honestly, like Dire win this late game, I'd say. Like they have no way to answer the Drow, especially if she picks up Scotty. Like Lifestealer, if you don't get on top of the Drow, then you're still able to slow the Lifestealer down top lane. It man, I can't speak.
Obviously, there's a lot to be said about a late game Dragon Knight as well. Once he does get that Black Dragon form going.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very
1000%. Yeah, that's the power of this offlaner, which is his really strong lane. You know, can get active in the early game. If you
Reem actually walking up into 3 heroes, gets hexed up here, but looking for the meat hook. It does connect. Both time is procced on the side of Ray. He's finding himself in the middle of 3 Radiant heroes now, and great usage there of just Pudge doing what he does best, and they're able to find themselves both heroes and a courier to boot. Now
this is
looking
going to be a
towards,
long Roche.
looking towards Roshan. 20 minutes into the game, and they're trying to get this Aegis down. Who do you reckon this Aegis is going to go over to?
Probably it'll be the Lifestealer because he's the Tower Sieger. They don't really have anyone else they want to give it to. They're really not going to scale into late game. Reem's going for a Sanj and Kaya, so this Lifestealer's going AC. It's very good versus the Drow because she rips through base armor, not green armor or additive armor. So the AC is great, but Lifestealer's really not doing any damage at all. If Radiant don't kill heroes with their first initial abilities, you do see Dire able to reset with how tanky they are. Poor Lion.
Radiant's bottom tower is
He went Shard before Blink. Wow.
That is going to be a very dead Lion indeed. They pop the Arena of Blood onto the Queen of Pain, but not without turning off her Blink, and so she's just going to get right on out of there. But here we go. Pudge does have that Infest on him, looking for the hook. It barely misses. Going a little wide there. The Infest does get popped, and now Lifestealer looking to smack away on this tower. Does force out the Reinforced.
I wonder if... Oh, Icarus is still nearby. Oh, they caught out the Queen of Pain.
Oh, bushwhack into hook. Looking for the Dismember. No! Not able to click the button. A little bit of a mechanical error there. Maybe he just misclicked the R on the ground instead, but
Yeah,
either way,
roast Andros.
very,
Keep going.
very tanky indeed on this Pudge. 17 flesh heap stacks.
I've always struggled with being able to get the Dismember as soon as the hook's coming through. I don't know if you've been one that's able to do so, but I don't know. My puny brain is unable to compute with that.
Yeah, you just buffer it on them while they're traveling mid-flight, but it looks like they might find a pick here. Sonic Wave into Scream of Pain, and that is going to be left, right, good night, finding themselves a nice pickup onto Unleashed.
Okay, what is Drought? She's going BKB. Okay, they've got Dismember to go through. Viper Strike will go through to Kite. They're still going
Bushwhack
deep
is
under the
used
tower.
to try and buy themselves a little bit of space. We were just talking about how tanky this Pudge is. So hard to kill. They do find themselves another pickup though onto Icarus, and honestly, these Pudge hooks, maybe not consistent, but they are consistent where they count most.
Oh, Pudge is in trouble though. Nice infest, alright. And now they're going to turn.
Infested up here, maybe looking to get things done. No blink available on the side of this Pudge. Again, you were talking about did go for the Aether, or the Aghanim Shard, I should say, before going for the blink. And doesn't even have much in the way of XP here. Only level 13 compared to, obviously, Reem sitting at level 17.
Yeah, but you take a look. I mean, he's same level as the Drow, which is...
Right.
This is your late game.
Ooh, and speaking of the
that's-
Drow, he's just found her. Caught lacking, farming the camps nice and peacefully, and that is going to be another hook into another kill. Looking for more now, as Arena of Blood is going to lock up 2 members of the Dire. Lion's going to go down, and Abaddon sure to follow. Icarus having to be very careful here. Does have the dragon form, but is going to explode if those Radiant heroes are able to get too close. Meanwhile, those Saitama just farming the Radiant side triangle.
He might even look to cut mid so they don't have a way to take this tier 2. And yeah, he's going to do that. Nicely done. So he's working on Lincoln's next speed. Just short.
Barely misses there. Very lucky indeed.
So I know this has been a tough game for Dai positioning wise, as Icarus might get caught out with the invis. It's actually going to lead him to
He's going to
hook.
get taken down indeed. Hook into Dismember. Not much you can do. Bushwhack to follow into Sharpshooter. Goodbye. That is going to be a very dead Dragon Knight. Meanwhile, top side. Could this be another pick up here? Saitama actually finds a courier onto Reem. Into popping a nice little silence here. They're going to be able to have the damage to kill him. I'm not even sure. Corrosive Skin obviously making this hero very tanky against the magic damage. And the damage coming through is insane. Saitama maybe even going to die here. No, barely going to live on just a little bit of HP. And Lion just giving up. Letting fate take him.
Dire's middle tower
Almost level
has
20 on the
fallen.
Viper as well. So if he wants to go for the damage, he went attack speed and health. Okay, usually we see like attack speed then attack range because how they pair together, but it looks like he wanted to try and tank up as much as possible because his earlier items didn't really enable that. And now he's also got the went Viper strike damage, so that's because he's going to be going to the Aghanim's. But more importantly, he has the Aghanim shard, which is going to make it a lot easier for them to siege. Lifestealer, never known as one of the greatest tower hitters. Once AC is picked up, it will be a little bit easier, but you know, he kind of just has to run up, rage, hit the tower, then reset. Age is going to tick out in 15 seconds as well, so Radiant, they have to keep this in mind how long they stick around.
Yeah, Icarus going forward now. They might be looking for Lifestealer. The great save though, using the Pudge Aghanim shard to save Lifestealer there and heal him up nicely.
Bushwhack. Perfect position from
Phonic
Ray.
Shield keeping him
Nice
nice and locked up. They do
though.
find Luffy though in the arena of blood. This is going to be Reginald using that Dismember onto Icarus. Dragon Knight in the middle of things right now. Has to get himself some space. Is he going to be able to back out in time? Great two-man Bushwhack does connect onto the back line. There's going to be a meat hook to follow, and that's going to be a dead Lion. They're looking for Ray next. A Phonic Shield buying a little bit of time, but I'm not sure if it's going to maybe be enough. He's getting melted down here by these Viper right clicks, and Icarus is just left with nothing to do as he's getting chased down by three members of the Radiant. And now Luffy, the Drow who could, left to defend this by himself. 1 versus 4. Buyback available on the Lion. Not sure if he'll choose to pull the trigger on it or not.
He'll probably just hold this buyback here, especially with they don't have the heroes to defend. I mean, I don't think Radiant can get another full set with how slow they push. Viper needs some mana. Lifestealer needs that Assault Cuirass. Luckily enough, there is a region up top, so if someone's able to scout that out, they're going to be a happy chap. But it's another solid fight here for Radiant. You just see that they're able to... Dire quite reliant on their positioning. With the Lion, with the Drow, Queen of Pain as well. Very, very mobile, but very, very squishy. And Lincolns can help out, but when you're able to get that first initial lockdown with the Spear into the Sharpshooter, Radiant looking solid overall from them. And you know, this game, with the net worth lead they have, they can just itemize to deal with the late game threat of the Drow, who's still working on a Burger B. Only one component with the Mithril Hammer completed, so they need a lot more time here from Dire to catch back up. But you know, we've seen crazier things. We have also seen that they've been playing some solid team fights, so they're definitely not out of it.
The Drow is looking for that BKB into the Skadi. Would say on the standard side for the hero. With the Dragon Lance Rush. But Icarus, very, very strong indeed, is actually looking for a Halberd next over the Aghanims.
Okay.
Maybe really valuing the disarm there for the Lifestealer and the Viper.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I feel like Ags gives you a way to scale, and it's really good against kiting the Lifestealer too, but they're just really looking to mitigate as much damage as possible. When you're far behind though, that's the issue. Like, when you're ahead, you want to build to survive, because often you have levels and already a damage advantage, but actually Queen of Pain down bot.
Yeah, Queen of Pain going to get caught up here by the hook, and the Dismember not going to land. She's actually able to blink out with the Euphonic Shield now, and they're turning it around. Sonic Wave does connect onto this Pudge. He's healing, though, on 1 health.
What?
Dismember regen, doing all it can to keep him
Is he
alive.
gonna die?
Ray trying to chase after with the borrowed time, but he's not going to be able to reach him. And so Reginald, he's going to live to see another day. The Pudge who could. And it looks like it's going to be GIGACHADELAIDE coming up huge there.
Yeah, going on a Pudge with 3k health is definitely not the way you want to take those fights. Drow not there, unfortunately, so won't able to have that little bit of damage they were looking for. Now Hoodwink's even got a Dagon as well, because, you know, almost topping the net worth of the Dragoniders. And Drow's really got to be careful with his positioning. Mars has got Blink up, and Drow should be dead. He's not going to go. Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Luffy has to be careful here. Does pop the silence. Viper strike.
Dire's middle tower is under
No,
attack.
not gonna chase. They're just gonna back off on this one. Look to rotate towards the rest of their team in the middle here. Grab up this
Radiant's
Rax.
bottom tower is under
Icarus.
attack.
No Dragon Form available.
Has fallen.
Luffy is gonna be the only ranged threat in this fight, but that is ranged threat with quotation marks around it, as we're seeing that beautifully placed sharpshooter do half this Abaddon's HP, and now look at Reem. He's turning it around 1v4 and almost finding himself a couple kills, but not quite. Great hook, though, is going to grab Ray over the wall. They have to chase out and kite out this borrowed time. Saitama blinking forward. The dagger lands onto Pudge into the Orchid. They're looking to chase him down. Ray finding himself getting killed off there by the Dagon on the Hoodwink. And there's no way Sir Reginald does it again and lives to see another day. And yes, indeed, Psycho dominating with a double kill there, as this Pudge just seeming to be unkillable.
Beautiful play. Psycho popped the Lincolns. That's all Mr. Squire was looking for to get the Dismember. And now they're even going to work on the tier 4 towers. They want to end this game in 2-0 fashion.
They are looking to close this one out. Indeed, Luffy with the wave clear there, but you know, with 2 racks down, it's only going to be 1 left until Megas come through. And you look at a composition like this, and do they really have a way to reliably clear out Megas, especially when you're Luffy position 1, getting caught out by the meat hook once again, and he's going to go down. Abaddon coming back to join the fray, though. Dragon Knight will have Dragon Form this time, but he might not even be allowed to click the button, as Meat Hook into Dismember is going to send him right back to base. Buyback available. He's going to pop it immediately. Borrow time when the Abaddon trying to buy himself a few extra seconds for his position 1 to arrive, or position 3, I should say. And indeed, he is sitting there in the backline with that Dragon Form, but the right clicks just aren't coming through, and Bushwhack is going to actually lock him up, while Lifestealer maybe finishing off this second Ancient Tower. Earth Spike does maybe buy him a little bit of time, but here comes Reem looking to drop the right clicks onto Icarus, and the pain is coming. BKB doing nothing to stop the physical damage coming through. The Lincolns does get applied to him by Queen of Pain, but look at the right click damage coming through from this Lifestealer. It's just too much, and Psycho actually finding him there with the Bushwhack, trying to escape. Ray finding much the same fate. So is the Lion, and that is going to be a full dead team, aside from this Queen of Pain doing her best to kite out these creeps, but I'm not sure if she's going to be able to delay the inevitable, and the GGs come through, and that is going to be GIGACHADELAIDE picking up a nice 2-0 victory over their opponents.
Very good. Very solid performance from them. You know, they overall, they look like quite the team to look out for. Dire as well have some strong points as well for this team heading forward in the group stages. I mean, I think their position 2 is overall quite the player. The fact that he was able to get a lot out of that lane was not what I was expecting versus the Viper. We saw game 1 as well. You know, the Tiny was... I thought he was going to struggle more in the lane, but he also kept up in the farm. So for Saitama, you know, big props to him. I think this game on UTS, just a little bit of... positioning where some of the issues where you need the Abaddon to be a little bit closer. It's such a difficult hero to understand how to play because it's not like other supports. So this, like, an Abaddon is someone who really actually wants to be on the front line. You want to tank up abilities and you want to be right next to your Drow Ranger, where there was a stage in the game where we saw Drow get picked off a couple times in a row, and kind of Ray wasn't at a spot where he could constantly purge off any of these suns. So just something to look at there positioning wise in that regard. But overall, GIGACHADELAIDE, again, you know, solid performance. Their lanes look good. They understand what to do after the laning phase, where they want to connect to, you know, the towers advantage, their itemization, and this is a team definitely to keep our eyes out for.
Certainly. Well, that is going to be it for today, I suppose. Before we head on out of here, of course, not going to go without last mentioning our sponsors yet again, because AEL Uni, the season 2 wouldn't be possible without them. So let's, if you'd like to do the honors once again, Ares, and walk us through those.
Yeah, Chatime, the fastest growing iced tea franchise in Australia. Of course, they've got over 120 Chatime tea breweries with a commitment to quality ingredients and mix-ins for flavors. And of course, next up, we've got AOC, which is the best viewing experience. They're a global leader in monitor display technology. For more than 50 years, AOC have delivered an exceptional viewing experience to millions of loyal customers worldwide. Indomie, where you're able to feed your game and try out multiple new flavors. They're carefully made from selected ingredients, the best quality flour and fresh spices from the natural resources of Indonesia. And then Rig develops headsets delivering superior audio for competitive gamers and streamers at all levels. So of course, a big shout out to our sponsors, and then also for the AEL University League for making this possible.
Yeah, definitely big thank you. I mean, I know myself, these sponsors are some people that I genuinely appreciate myself. Chatime, obviously, is a place that I've been going to for, a good little beverage after work for many, many a year. And AOC, the monitor right in front of me is literally an AOC monitor, and I can attest to them being quite good quality. And Indomie was something that obviously I would go down to Woolies or whatever and grab myself one of their Indomie Migareng noodle cups, which come with a fork and all the stuff for like $1, and it's a whole lunch for literally $1. So what can I say? Definitely the
Can't go wrong.
Definitely the tastefulness to cost ratio on Indomie is absolutely superb. But thank you for joining me here, Ares, today for this great game between GIGACHADELAIDE and UTS Esports. We'll be sure to catch you in week 3. But what a way to close out week 2. I got to say, we've had some great games this week.
Yeah, we definitely have. Yeah, we've seen some solid games. Beautiful Sunday afternoon action of the best of 2. GIGACHADELAIDE able to take the victory there. Again, a shout out for AU Esports League on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for anyone that's looking to drop some follows over there, so you guys can make sure you stay up to date when all the streams are going live. And then of course the Twitch channels as well, AEL Uni and then AEL Uni 2. And with all that out of the way, I'm excited to see how week 3 group stages are going to fare. It feels like some teams are starting to build some momentum for a great group stage run. But I feel like we still got 4 weeks left here, so definitely still time. Actually, even 5 weeks left. There's 7-week group stage here, so we definitely have a lot of time here for teams to be able to find that chemistry and find the identity as we get to the later stages.
Yeah, certainly couldn't agree more, and you'll have to tune in week 3 to find out exactly what is going to be going down. But I mean, we've had some great games this week, and if this is any indication of how the rest of the tournament is going to be, even more so as the teams start to kind of adapt to each other more and more and learn and grow off each other, then we're in for one amazing season. So definitely make sure to stay tuned in. But until next time, I'm Kadius, and this has been Ares, and we will see you on the desk in our next one.